I'm looking at these mountains over here off to our left. I guess, you know, in Texas we have scouts. They are everywhere. We call them falcons or lookouts. Yeah. Do y'all call them the same thing? And are they as prevalent where they literally are checking on shifts just like law enforcement, and are they, or do they stay in bed longer? What is their tactic like? What is their day in, day out as a scout that's operating against you and your people every day? How do they operate day in, day out?
And that's a great question, Jason, because we actually do have scouts. We call them scouts. They typically will stay up in the mountains for about 2 weeks at a time.
Do they really?
Yeah. They have enough resources. They have firearms, batteries for their radios, food, water, and they have enough to stay up there for a couple weeks at a time. You can see how big these mountains are. You can't just go up and down these things over and over again. What we started doing is we were the first county in this country. We went to the feds and said, and this was back in the mid or late 2000, 2008, 2010. Yeah. We went to the feds and said, hey, you need to do something about this. Well, the federal the attorneys would not take the cases. So we actually got the county attorney to start charging them stateside under a conspiracy charge. We did up a historical. We showed how their part played in trafficking drugs and humans into this country. And we were the first county in the country to have successful convictions
fantastic.
Of scouts in the mountains. What's unique about where we're at in my county is those scouts are not there just for the law enforcement. They're there for the RIP crews more than the law enforcement. And the RIP crews are the drug dealers that come from Phoenix to steal the drugs from those bringing the drugs across.
So
they'll rip humans and they'll rip drugs.
Interesting. Yeah.
If you can rip them and take them up to a house and stick 5 bodies in there and make them pay another $2,500 or $3,000 before you release them, and you take their drugs as well.
Yeah.
So we've had to deal with a lot of RIP crews down here, and the scouts are just as much for them as they are for law enforcement.
Well, Jason then discussed the threat of fentanyl flooding across the southern border into every part of the U.S. Listen.
Sheriff, you seize fentanyl.
Yes.
You have talked to me about fentanyl. You seize fentanyl here. I don't know that the rest of America realizes that, yes, some of it stays here, but every city, community, and county in this country is a border town today. That term is thrown around, but do you think they really realize it? Because the drugs aren't staying right here in your county.
They don't realize it, and that's what I tell people all the time. What we don't stop here, it's not going to stay here. These jails on the East Coast, Massachusetts, Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, they have more illegals in their jails than I do in mine. This product is not designed to stay here. They fetch the lowest price for their drugs and humans right here in Arizona. The further inland they push it into America, the greater the price that they get. And so they want these drugs to be in Illinois and Iowa and Ohio and the Carolinas. This is where it's designed to go, not here.